Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of NEWSWAVE, written, produced and recorded in the heart of Cornwall by the team here at Chaos Radio. I'm your host, Tom Howe, and I'll be guiding you through some of the insightful guests and exciting news content that we've enjoyed across Chaos Radio this past week. On today's show, we visit the team behind the new St Austell Community Land Trust, a community-led housing project designed to transform empty buildings into affordable homes for local people. We welcome back Leanne Bawden from RSPCA Cornwall, who joins us to celebrate the charity's 30th anniversary and discuss plans to refurbish its ageing kennel facilities. Amanda Fidelis from NHS Cornwall and Isles of Scilly explains how the Pharmacy First scheme can help people get quick treatment for common summer health concerns. Meanwhile, we take Chaos on the road to take in all the fun of last weekend's Sticker Vintage Rally and Country Fair, which welcomed thousands of visitors for a weekend of classic vehicles, entertainment and fundraising too. Firefighters Matthew and Ashley from St Austell Fire Station shared details of an ambitious Southwest Coast Path Relay Challenge, raising money for the Children's Cancer Units at Trelisk. Brian Sheen from Rosen Observatory shares the best places to view the upcoming solar eclipse and how to watch it safely. Before, finally, Christian Valenzuela from the Filipino Cornwall Community Organisation joins us to explore a multicultural festival celebrating diverse communities while raising money for children in the Philippines.
NEWSWAVE.
But first this week, a new community-led housing project has launched in St Austell, aiming to bring empty buildings back into use and create affordable homes for local people. I visited a recent open day to find out more.
NEWSWAVE.
A new community-led housing project has launched in St Austell, with organisers hoping it can help tackle both the housing crisis and the future of our town centre. The newly formed St Austell Community Land Trust has opened a community share offer to raise a sum of £250,000. Their aim? To bring vacant and derelict buildings back into use and create what it describes as truly affordable homes for local people. The cooperative model means local investors become members of the organisation, with decisions controlled by the community rather than private developers. One of the directors and co-founders is St Austell and Newquay MP Noah Law, who explained what it is that makes a community land trust different.
So a community land trust, Tom, is a community-owned housing organisation. Ours is a cooperative as well, which I'm very proud of. So it's going to be community-controlled, one member, one vote. And we want as many people in St Austell town to be involved as possible and essentially contributing to the organisation, turning up to the AGM, but ultimately putting their savings to work for the good of the town. And we have some quite good precedents of doing this in Cornwall. We've got sort of really thriving community housing sector, lots of great organisations like 3Cs in Lou with their Coast Guard Flats project. We've got St U just around the corner from here that's managed to provide truly affordable homes for local people and done so in a way that's really kind of sympathetic to what the local community actually wants, because I know how big an issue that is in Cornwall. We do need housing, but it's got to be done in the right way and it's got to put local people first.
The Trust says its first proposed project is the former dental surgery and townhouse at 9 Truro Road. Pending successful fundraising and due diligence, the building will be converted into 4 affordable homes, rented at social rate levels for local people and working families. Organisers say they have spent months assessing opportunities across St Austell Town Centre, identifying buildings that could be brought back into use. Noah says what some see as a challenge could also be seen as an opportunity.
we've pretty much checked out every single potential site in and around the high street, and there are quite a few. We know that. We get a regular update of the sort of building vacancies and those for sale. And as much as it feels like doom and gloom, you know, my job as an investor before was looking for diamonds in the rough in some of the world's most challenging markets. So here, in a way as well, with property values being as depressed as they are in St Austell, it presents an opportunity to do something that, yes, traditional, commercial, money-hungry developers won't touch it. But if you say, I'm willing to take a social rate of return, and this is going to be a community-led project that, yes, is commercially credible, but is not primarily there to make stacks of cash in the same way that we know property developers are, it changes the whole dynamic of what you can do. It makes viable projects that might not be otherwise. But I think St Austell does represent a rich opportunity because of the fact that, yeah, it can be rough out there, but there are some gems that we need to find, and that will take a lot of effort from our expert steering group to kind of bring to fruition. But actually, that's where community-led models come in.
The Trust's immediate focus is on existing empty and derelict buildings rather than any new build developments. They say that bringing more people to live in the town centre could help increase footfall and support local businesses, while simultaneously providing homes for local residents who might otherwise struggle to access affordable housing.
We're focused in this phase at least on those vacant and derelict buildings in and around the town centre. That's got to be priority number one. You all know my three pledges at this point: jobs, state of the town, housing, and this really ticks at least two of those boxes that I promised my constituents that I would when I was elected 2 years ago. So yeah, we've rolled up our sleeves here. It's taken a while to put together, lots of sleepless nights over an Excel model and putting this offer document together. We are still at the first stage, the fundraising, but there's a lot of work that's gone behind the scenes from our local community leaders. Really, they are now these people that know property, that know development. You know, local councillors involved as well, and it's just really good to see the community support something like this. There's signs of things turning around. Yes, shops are leaving, but there's new development coming and going, and the nature of the high street is changing. It's great to see, you know, there's a sort of Frozen-themed shop opened up opposite where my office will be in the high street, and I'm trying to put my office budget, my money where my mouth is as well, to really do our bit as my parliamentary office in the constituency to turn things around here. But that's the thing. The nature of the high street is changing. It's not just going to be a sort of pure retail bonanza. You're going to have more services, more activities. You know, even if it's not just for princesses and or soft play or whatever it is, it's got to be for people of all ages. Create that inclusive high street and have a bit more footfall from people actually living in and around the area.
The project has grown directly from conversations with residents about the future of housing and the future of St Austell itself, which has shown a particular need for smaller, affordable homes that meet local requirements.
We're looking to provide homes for local working people as top priority, and I think, to be fair, once this is done, I'm hoping that, you know, it will go like hotcakes, because yes, we will look at people that are sort of on the home choice list, for example, but, you know, we'll be open to everyone, that's all local people to apply. There is a shortage of housing for local working families that might be on, say, modest income, 1 or 2 bedroom places that don't break the bank. I mean, the kind of housing that we've built in Cornwall has not been the right kind of housing for too long. It's been larger family homes that are more maybe affordable to people coming in from outside, but it's pushing local people out of Cornwall. We all know this dynamic, and that's what we're trying to break with this new social model of community housing. This is all kind of comes from out of what I've heard from people in the community. You've just got to take that and turn it into something real, something tangible for people, something they can be involved in. It's a real passion project for us, and it's something that we can all be involved in.
The St Austell Community Land Trust says it hopes to raise £250,000 through that community share offer, with the funds helping support its first proposed housing project at 9 Truro Road. More information about the trust, its allocation policy and the community share offer is available through the project's website, staustellclt.org.uk.
NEWSWAVE.
Now, RSPCA Cornwall, situated at the Venton Centre near St Column, is marking 30 years of rescuing and rehoming animals, supporting thousands of dogs and cats across Cornwall. As the charity celebrates the milestone, it's also launching a fundraising campaign for a major refurbishment of its original kennel blocks. Community and fundraising manager Leanne Bawden joined Bryna Jordan to reflect on the past 3 decades and look ahead to the future.
NEWSWAVE.
We are so hugely proud, despite being such a small local Cornish charity, reaching such a big landmark. 30 years of the RSPCA Cornwall branch centre at St Column just doesn't mean 30 years of being, but it means thousands and thousands of animals that we've helped, that we have touched the lives of, and also so many members of our community. So for us, it's a chance to reflect on everything that we have achieved and everything that the Cornish community has helped us to achieve, but also it gives us a chance to think about what we want to do going forward, how we can continue to move forward, improve, work with the people of Cornwall and continue to support many thousands more animals.
Take us back to the beginning. Let's cast our mind back some 30 years. Why was there a need for a dedicated RSPCA rescue and rehoming centre in Cornwall? And how did the Venton Centre come to life?
Yeah, I mean, this has been so wonderful. So I've only been with RSPCA Cornwall for about 3 years. So for me, it's been a real journey through the archives. And actually, the story takes us further back than 30 years. It takes us actually back to 150 years ago, when the RSPCA first presence sort of appeared in Cornwall. And initially there were sort of 4 sort of branches that worked across all of Cornwall, and there was no centre. Most of the animals that needed support were put into foster homes, and it was a really tricky thing to coordinate. And in 1993, the sort of 4 separate branches that had been working across the county for such a long time noticed just the sheer volume of animals that they were needing to support. In 1994, there were 233 dogs and 638 cats just in that year alone within Cornwall that needed space and needed support. So it was felt that actually a single dedicated rehabilitation and rehoming centre would really benefit the animals of Cornwall. And so they found the site that we're on, which is Higher Coit Farm near St Column. The building work began, and then wonderfully the amazing Patricia Venton donated £1 million in memory of her husband William, hence the name, the Venton Centre. And then 30 years ago in 1996, we were lucky enough to welcome the first animals to the centre, and we haven't looked back since.
As part of this anniversary, you're investing in a major refurbishment of the original Venton Centre. What kind of improvements are being made, and how will they enhance the lives of the animals in your care?
Absolutely. So, I mean, for me personally, 30 years ago feels like about 5 minutes ago, but, a lot has changed in the last 30 years. And in particular, our understanding of animal welfare. So, about 2 years ago, we built a brand new kennel block because the need for us to have more space, it just grew. And so we actually made space to build a new kennel block. And when that new kennel block was built, it really sort of flagged up the need to develop our existing kennels. And so we looked at them, we looked at what they could offer. And obviously, everything we do has animal welfare at the forefront. Every animal that comes into our care receives the highest, welfare rehabilitation that we can offer. But animal welfare has changed and our kennel blocks need to move with the times. So we are refurbishing 3 of our existing kennel blocks. We will be ripping out the old kennel structures with the sort of heavy banging metal doors and the echoing sort of walls, so that when dogs bark, it's very loud, and it's going to make it a much more modern, modular design, more soundproofed, and it will allow us to adapt each kennel to suit the need of the animal when it arrives, whether that's a pregnant female that's going to, begin whelping soon, whether that's an older, unwell dog, a dog that's suffered previous trauma. We will be able to adapt those kennels to ensure that each animal receives the very best care that they can whilst they're with us.
And you've also just launched a new fundraising appeal called The Tree That Cornwall Grew. I'm very interested about this. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Absolutely. So this is a little bit of my baby, because I am the community and fundraising manager. So whenever there's a sort of fundraising appeal, this is where I step in and get to run, which I love. And we are fully self-funded, and it already costs just over £1 million each year to operate our charity. So it's a huge undertaking. And when we are fulfilling such a large operation as refurbishing kennels, we need the support of our community even more. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to ensure that each person in our community who supports with the Tree That Cornwall Grew understood how important their part was. And so the Tree That Cornwall Grew kind of came together because we wanted a lasting sort of memory of every single person who donates. So we've got an online tree that we're asking people to donate to, where £3 makes you a leaf supporter, £30 makes you a branch supporter, and £300 makes you a trunk supporter. And then what we intend to do once the fundraiser is completed is to create a mural at the centre where each trunk supporter will be included on the trunk, the branch supporters on the branches, and each leaf supporter will receive a leaf with either their name or the name of an animal or a person that they have donated in memory of, so that forever those people's support at this such a crucial time for us will be there, so that future generations can see how those people helped us to keep animal welfare at the forefront of everything that we do.
What's the vision for the next 30 years of RSPCA Cornwall?
So one of the things that I'm personally passionate about is that education piece. As a past primary teacher myself, educating the next generation and ensuring that animal welfare is something that is learnt about from a very young age, so that when they are the next generation of people working with animals, of pet owners, etc., they already have that as such a deeply ingrained inside of them. We hope to be able to help more animals as they're needed, and to be a centre of excellence for rehabilitation for cats and dogs.
NEWSWAVE.
OK, as temperatures rise and holidaymakers flock to Cornwall, the NHS are encouraging people to think pharmacy first for many of the minor health issues that can put a dampener on summer. Whether it's sunburn, dehydration, hay fever, or an insect bite, your local pharmacist could be the quickest route to expert advice and treatment. Amanda Fidelis, lead clinical practitioner at NHS Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly, joined Pete G on Breakfast to explain more.
NEWSWAVE.
So Pharmacy First Service is an NHS service available from all pharmacies in Cornwall and Isles of Scilly. Essentially, it allows trained pharmacists to assess and treat a range of common conditions, and where appropriate, they can supply you with prescription-only medicines without you needing to see your GP first. Now, pharmacies can also provide advice and treatment for many other minor conditions and injuries such as hay fever, rashes, some of them you mentioned earlier, dehydration, and they can also help you with emergency supply of most medications if you run out.
Obviously, with the warmer weather and more people visiting the county at this time of year, what are the most common summer health issues that the pharmacies can help with then?
Well, hay fever is one of the most common conditions that they can help with, especially in the summer. But there are also other conditions like bites and insect bites and stings, swimmer's ear for people that love to swim and surf, heat rashes, heat exhaustion. You did mention dehydration, and some summer colds. So pharmacies can support people with all of these. They can also offer general advice to keep you safe and healthy in the summer months.
If you're feeling unwell, what kinds of conditions then can pharmacists now assess and treat through the Pharmacy First service?
So one of the biggest changes is that pharmacists can now assess and treat 7 common clinical conditions through the Pharmacy First service. Some of these include sinusitis, sore throat, earache in children and young people, infected insect bites, impetigo, shingles, and uncomplicated urinary tract infection in women. And where appropriate, they can supply you, the pharmacist can supply you with a prescription-only medicine for this, meaning that many people can get treatment without them needing to wait for a GP appointment. And also GP practices in NHS 111, they can refer people to pharmacists for advice and treatment for a wide range of other minor conditions and self-care support. So that again reduces the pressure on GP practices and 111 services. Pharmacists are experts in medicines, and yes, it's a long time to study and come out as a pharmacist. It's 2 years A-level, 4 years at university, and an extra year training and having real-time experience before you take an exam and then get qualified to become a UK registered pharmacist. So it's a long process, but then that's really good because you then come out to become an expert and a highly qualified healthcare professional.
One of the key messages of the campaign is accessibility. So just how convenient is Pharmacy First compared with other healthcare options, particularly for busy families, workers and even holidaymakers?
So what I'd say is there are about 90 community pharmacies in Cornwall and Isles of Scilly. That means essentially there is a pharmacy in most neighbourhoods with a highly qualified healthcare professional who can support people without the need for an appointment or long waiting times. With most pharmacies, people can just walk in and get support from your pharmacist on the same day. And I think that's a game changer.
And also, of course, pharmacies are... not all of them, but most of them are open Saturday, or at least Saturday morning. Some of them are open 7 days a week.
Yes, some of them are open Sundays.
Yeah, which of course, I don't think I've ever heard of a GP being open on a Sunday. So, so pharmacies are great.
NEWSWAVE.
Right, you're listening to NEWSWAVE here on Chaos Radio with me, Tom Howe. Did you visit the Sticker Vintage Rally over the weekend? It's one of Cornwall's most popular summer events, bringing together classic vehicles, family entertainment, local businesses and community groups to fundraise for worthy local causes. Chaos Radio were broadcasting live from the site, and here's a roundup of some of what we got up to.
NEWSWAVE.
It's Chaos Radio, it's Nath. We are live from Sticker Rally today. So great to be back. I think it's our 3rd or 4th year supporting this one. Good morning, PG.
Yes, good morning, Nathan Hampkin. How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm good. Isn't it nice to be back?
It is nice to be back, and having been for a wander already, I think it's bigger this year. So I'm here with Tebsy, and we are going to talk buses, because this year, for the first time, there is a bus exhibit here. So first of all, just give us your background. You have a long history with buses, right?
I certainly do. My father was a busman for 32 years. I myself had 55 years in the industry. I've always been a bus nut from as long as I can remember. In fact, I only exist because of buses. My dad was a bus conductor in 1938, and a young lady got on his bus. She travelled, she paid a penny, but she travelled a penny halfpenny stage, and he admonished her. And after that, they got together and produced 4 children. So,
so the bus that you've got here today, what is it?
It's a 1960 Bristol SC, which stands for small capacity. It's a 35-seat single-decker. It's got a Gardner 4-cylinder engine, and it was designed for economy. It was the first one was brought out in 1954. The idea being that it would be very economical, because we had fuel problems even then. But as well as being economical, it could be operated by one man. The driver could take the fares. Up until then, we had bus conductors. We had a crew of two, one man driving, one on the back taking the fares and ringing the bell. I always remember my dad explaining this situation about the driver taking the fare, and he said, "It'll never catch on, boy. It'll never catch on."
By the power of the team, we've managed to capture the main man himself. He's the busiest man on site today.
Absolutely. I am with no other than Mr. John Vine himself. So far, what would you say is one of the best highlights of the show?
For me, the highlights of the show is just seeing so many people here, having a great time, looking at all of the traders, the crafters, the vehicles, having some food, watching all the parades, and everybody's got a smiling face. So it's really, really good. So much hard work goes into preparing this. To see people enjoying themselves makes it all worthwhile. So that's the real kick about doing it.
Coming up here in the ring very soon, we're going to be looking forward to the motorcycle parade. So stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, Tom Howe has some special guests.
Yes, I do. I'm joined just ahead of their performance on the stage over on the other side of the arena here by three members of the St Dennis Ukulele Band.
As soon as we started using the local community hub, which is Clay Talk in St Dennis, we started gathering more and more people in, and now there's close to 30. We practice every Monday and we're gigging all over the place. We've become from rather just a strumming bit of fun into a performance band, really.
We actually couldn't play the ukulele before, so it's only through Steve and his teaching that we've learned how to play. So never picked an instrument up in our life. So
now you're a part of a band about to play on the stage here at Sticker Rally.
It's brilliant. We have so much fun. We don't take it too serious, but it's just lovely because Chloe's my daughter. So it's lovely being able to play with her as well and keep it in the family. And my little granddaughter's here today as well. So hopefully she'll be following Chloe's footsteps. So whilst we can have a go at playing the ukulele, the friendships that we've made outside away from the ukulele club is really important as well as. So it's just a big laugh all the way through.
And yet another great example of some of the fantastic organisations here today at Sticker Vintage Rally. So much happening in our community. This is why we come. Tom, you've been a busy little bee as always.
Yeah,
have you seen?
I have absolutely loved having so many diverse conversations, from chatting to the Chestnut Appeal about men's health to chatting about smuggling vehicle parts back from France. We were chatting to the Soroptimists, the Scouts. It's just one of those events that brings everyone together.
And well done to all the great people in our community working so hard to make it such a special place to live.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, starting on the 28th of August, Greenwatch from St Austell Fire Station will be taking on an extraordinary challenge. The team will attempt to run non-stop, yes, non-stop, along the southwest coast path, all the way from Bude Fire Station to St Just Fire Station, raising money for the Children's Cancer Unit at Trelisk, a cause that's very close to their hearts. Firefighters Matthew and Ashley, who are both taking part in the challenge, joined Bryna to explain more.
NEWSWAVE.
It's over 200k in 2 days, 30,000 foot of climb. Obviously, the watch have come up with this. I think it was probably potentially Hannah's initial idea, and then we all thought, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Little did we know.
How long have you all been training for this challenge? I'm assuming, is it kind of like a whole team thing, or was there a choice in doing it?
I'd say some of us are probably more voluntold.
Yeah.
But no, realistically, when the initial idea was floated, it was a case of everyone sort of buying into it and agreeing to it as such, because obviously we need to do it as a watch. We can all train together and do things to help each other to all get to a standard where we're able to complete it, or the best of our ability.
Yeah.
We can all do bits on our days off, but we've also been meeting up on our days off as a group. A few people met up over Newquay Way and then did a little run. Well, I say little, it was 10 miles in the conditions that are more what we're going to be seeing when we do the coast path, because it's okay sort of running on a running machine and then potentially running local to where we all live, because we all live different places, but the coast path, as it's own beast, isn't it? You know,
It's going to be a lot more demanding than on a flat road or in a gym on a treadmill for half an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine all those hills, and it's not even that. You've got to contend with people maybe coming the other way, rocks and stuff in the path. Like, there's a lot to think about, I guess, if you're doing it in a real life scenario.
Yeah, definitely. And when you then got to take into consideration fatigue. When fatigue starts setting in and you're on that undulated ground, you've got more trip hazards with the gorse and the environment. So you've got to be on your game a lot more than like you would be, like Matt said, just in a gym.
What we're trying to do is we've looked at the whole journey and then split it up into sections. Hopefully 2 people at the time will be running, at least 2 people will be running on the coast path. We'll have a van with another 2 people, hopefully following that journey, as well as lots of other people supporting it. But if anyone hurt themselves, or if we're going through another heat wave, we could swap those people out with the 2 people that are in the van. Everyone else within the service has obviously been invited. We've got people from the on-call at St Austell. They're going to be joining and helping with the organisation. We've got people from all other stations, so the stations that are potentially closer to different points we'll be at, they can jump in, do a section with us for a bit of support, and then once they've done their little bit, they can drop out and then some different people will join. So there'll be lots of different people, hopefully, being part of it. It is organised by us as such, and it was our idea, but it doesn't mean that we wouldn't want other people to be involved.
Absolutely. And I love that you're doing it as a watch as well, and the invitation out there to other services and anyone to come along and join.
2 weeks ago, when everyone went for a run, it was lovely weather. People went and had a little dip in the sea, because it's all coast path, so gone by the beach. People had a little dip in the sea. It's a nice bonding experience, ultimately for a good cause at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what you're focusing on, obviously, the raising money for Children's Cancer Unit at Truro Hospital. I think anything else is almost a bonus, really, isn't it?
It seems silly to say that we're enjoying it as such, because we're doing it for a really important cause, and that's not forgotten. But if we can enjoy it, it becomes easier for us, doesn't it? It's a continuous run. So when we say we're doing it over the 28th and 29th of August, it's continuous. So although one person won't necessarily run it from start to finish, 2 people will be on the coast path, hopefully from the watch. So it will be continuously ran. So we're going through the night. Towards the end, I'm sure we'll need those little bits to spur us on. There's having a good bond, having a bit of a laugh along the way will definitely help.
Absolutely.
I'm sure a little bit of food as well.
And ultimately, the knowledge of why this event is taking place is always the ultimate goal, to spur you along and to achieve the actual outcome and complete it, you know.
So how will the relay work? Is it like a certain amount of kilometres that you do, that each pair do?
We'll try and pair people up with similar abilities, rather than putting someone who's a fast runner with someone who probably, like myself, is more of a slower runner.
We can run together then, mate.
Exactly,
That'd be cool.
Yeah, so we've got to be mindful of people's abilities. Some, Hannah, she's really into running. She does a lot of running anyway on her days off. Same as Andy, who you've spoken to before. He's done lots of running in the past.
So they're a lot more conditioned to it.
Yeah, and they'll find it easier to sort of condition themselves to this, whereas other people's sporting focus has to change towards running for this particular event.
When is this happening? Where is it? Well, we kind of know where it's happening. And how can people get involved to support the event and help you raise as much money as possible for the Children's Cancer Unit at Trelisk?
It's starting at Bude, so Bude Fire Station really, and then it's going to finish at St Just. So obviously we're going to travel all the way along, so there'll be lots of locations. You might see a fire engine, people running, people tired, they look like they've been running. Obviously our St Austell Facebook page will be showing what we're doing. There is a Just Giving page which you'd have to put in East to West Ultra Run, and then it will come up and it will show where you can hopefully give some money towards, which would be much appreciated. Doesn't have to be lots of money, just
any little donation is a donation to the right cause, isn't it?
NEWSWAVE.
Now, Brian Sheen from Roseland Observatory is here next, sharing the best places to view the upcoming solar eclipse, how to watch it safely, and why a lunar eclipse may be harder to spot locally. In discussion with Brian also explains how people can get involved with the observatory and find out more about their events and activities.
NEWSWAVE.
Well, so far as we're concerned, the North Coast is the place to be because it's a late in the afternoon, early evening event. And that means that the sun is well over to the west and to the northwest, really. So therefore, the North Coast is the place to go. And it's a good idea if you want to be enthusiastic about it, as like we did yesterday. We checked out whether the sun would be visible from our site, even during the time of setting, and we're pretty happy with that. So that's good. You've got to do the same, really. Pretend to be an astronomer. The general public, got to start somewhere. Wander out in the next 2 or 3 days and actually watch the sunset, which is quite late on. It's 8 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock. Actually sets. But that'll be finished then. And if you can see the sun setting into the sea today or tomorrow or whatever, then you're in a pretty good place. Okay. You might find you've been joined by lots and lots of others, though.
I can think of a few beaches on the North Coast that would probably be absolutely perfect for that. If people are going out to view the eclipse on the 12th of August, do they need any special equipment? Is it something that we can see with our naked eye? Obviously, I don't think we should look directly at it, should we?
No. You must not do that. Trelisk is busy enough already without our help. So, for heaven's sake, don't go looking directly, especially with a pair of binoculars or a small telescope or something like that. That is to be avoided. But you can get special filters. I'm not sure how easy it would be to get them now. I've got a collection left over from the 99 eclipse, you see. So I'm all right, Jack. And we shall be able to protect your eyes. If you're lucky, obviously the density of the atmosphere close to the horizon is, as you know, considerably higher than it is when it's midday. So therefore, there will be a sort of dimming effect, not only down to the eclipse itself, but also to the fact that it's having to go through a much thicker atmosphere. So you should be all right, just sort of giving it a glance. You can project a sort of pinhole image, but I've never really tried that. Sounds a bit amateurish to me, but we've got sort of special telescopes which do allow us to see a projected image, and you can watch the progress of the eclipse like that. They've been talking about holding a calendar up, and it looked to me, when the first sight, that the calendar was over your eyes, and you look through the little holes. That's quite definitely not right. So what you do, you hold it up, point the calendar at the sun, and then it will project the eclipse again onto a white ground, a sheet or something of that ilk. So that's one way of doing it quite easily. There's several simple ways of doing it without the associated risk of an ambulance fully alarmed chasing off to Trelisk.
Absolutely. On the flip side of the solar eclipse, there's also a lunar eclipse happening towards the end of the month on the 28th. Will we be able to see that? And how do you look out for that one?
Well, it's always full moon. That's the whole point. It's exactly opposite to a solar eclipse, which can only be done at the new moon. You've got a full moon going on there. That's for a lunar eclipse. It is on the 28th, and it is not easy to see, they say, from Cornwall. But I'm guessing it's down to the fact that it's a bit too low to the horizon, and it's blocked off by our lovely countryside. From we can't turn away the countryside, can we? I'm
sticking on moons now because you mentioned off air to me that there's talk of a second moon. Is this something like in Star Wars where we're on Tatooine and there's 2 moons and 2 suns, or is it a little bit simpler than that?
What's Star Wars? Right, okay. The 2 moons, there's 2 different ways in which you could get a second moon accompanying our Earth and moon. from time to time and for a short time only. What happens is that sometimes piece gets blown off the moon. SpaceX is conveniently going to crash a rocket in, well, it may well have just done it actually, into the moon itself. And that will blow a piece off, and that could come round and join us. It will be orbiting with us, and if it is doing that, we should be turning under it, and it gives the impression that that moon is itself turning, but it isn't. And that's called a quasi-moon. A second moon is where we get an asteroid from Mars, because there's a lot of small rocks between Mars and us. Everybody knows about the meteors between Mars and Jupiter, but there's another one between Mars and Earth, and some of them go inside the orbit of Earth even, and that one is a mini moon. When they catch up, same orbit, the same position, it will go round at the same speed, so therefore you can watch it for a bit, and then a few days later it will break away.
Yeah, there's all sorts to look out for in the night sky. But I've got one more because there's also a meteor shower coming up soon. So we've got solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, second moon, and a meteor shower that everyone needs to look out for. When's the best time to view the meteor shower?
Generally after midnight, but anyway, on the same night as the eclipse, solar eclipse, then that is the peak of the meteor shower. And I think it's about 150 an hour go through, so I'm told. They guess these things. They sound as if they know what they're doing, but it's an inspired guess sometimes. But they know where the clumps of meteors are in the orbit, and they can put 2 and 2 together and get 6.
Is there a specific place that would be great in Cornwall, in the local area, to go and watch the meteor shower?
If they're Perseus, you're sort of looking north a bit, and they will be whizzing by. What you mustn't do is look straight at what we call the radiant, because all you'll see there is the occasional ones which are coming straight at you. And of course, there's just a point. You've got to look off the radiant a bit. But if they are whizzing through at that sort of rate, then you will have no trouble spotting them. Just keep your eyes open and say, ooh.
Finally, Brian, can you remind us how people can find out what you're up to? How can they get in touch? All of your usual details.
Well, they seem to be able to do that quite easily, really. But it's roselandobservatory.com. We'll try and get it updated a bit, but and it's Truro High School for Girls is where we are at.
NEWSWAVE.
Finally, this week, community groups from across Cornwall will come together in Truro this month for a colourful celebration of culture, food and music. The Filipino Cornwall Community Organisation's multicultural charity festival is returning for its second year, promising live performances, international cuisine and family-friendly entertainment, while raising funds for underprivileged children in the Philippines. I caught up with organiser Christian Valenzuela to find out how a growing Filipino community in Cornwall is helping build connections across cultures.
NEWSWAVE.
Especially maybe about 11 years ago, when Royal Cornwall Hospital did a direct recruitment back home in the Philippines, I was one of the fortunate ones to have been offered the job. And 11 years later, I'm here still in Cornwall. No, it's a bad thing, but I'm really, really grateful for the opportunity given. I am currently working in Trelisk as one of the nurses there in the surgery department. And through the years, Tom, I've seen how the community, and I mean community, Filipino community evolved in a way from very small to now. I think we're less than 1,000 in my register currently, but I'm sure continue growing. So the hope is for us to establish a sense of community in Cornwall despite being away from home, in the sense that my hope is for the Filipinos to also stay in Cornwall and work here and live here and establish a life here and integrate with the local community and obviously share the cultures and the laughter and fun that we can contribute to the community as a whole.
And what about the community that you found now as well? So when you settled into Cornwall, and did it match up to the video that you were shown?
Yeah, actually it did, because I didn't really drive until quite recently, but yeah, it did. Hence, I thought during that time, I said to myself, okay, I'll give it 2 years. That was the contract, and then I'll venture out. And then I got promoted, and then, okay, another 2 years until I got hooked here. And I feel that Cornwall is becoming part of my life, and it's becoming like my second home, if you may. And I hope, that's my hope for not just for the locals, but obviously for all international migrants as a whole, that Cornwall is a nice place to live.
Now there is this community that's growing. You've created some events. You started last year?
Yeah, actually, well, officially last year, Tom, when we decided to, or the communities decided to step out of the comfort zone and to basically showcase what we've got in terms of our culture to the whole public. But then before then, 3 years ago, we were celebrating our little humble culture in the enclosed areas of community halls. And I thought, when I was observing it, I see that the community is really growing, and I feel that it's about time for us to with grateful hearts, to show to everybody what Filipino food, what Filipino culture is, how we get too excited sometimes, that to the point that we're like shouting, but we're not really, we're just too excited. And just to send that across to everybody, that we might be coming from different parts of the world, but what my hope is, or the organization and the other volunteers' hope is to remind everyone that Cornwall might be composed of different and diverse cultures, but at the end of the day, we're part of one fabric of a community as a whole.
What was it you were hoping to achieve? What did you want to do? And what's your reaction and feedback been like since those events as well?
It's just to show. We started with a simple idea of, again, showing how rich the Filipino culture is, and how we integrate with the local culture, and at the same time embrace the diversity that the Cornwall has got. I feel that at that time we kind of like it as a controlled chaos, if you may, in that event. In a way, in a good sense. It was really festivity, where we called it Filipino Day that time. So more or less the influx was from Philippines. But then I was quite surprised. Other communities on local have also participated. So today, or for this time, we've changed the flagship to Fiestahan sa Cornwall, translated as Festival in Cornwall, where it will be quite defined as a multicultural event, and where Filipino culture will be the main, with integration from different communities. So again, there will be different foods from Afro-Caribbean joining. There will be cultural performances from Indian community to from Greece, and obviously from local, which was really, really good. And I'm very, very excited to showcase this to everybody. Mm-hmm. In fact, we've just moved from a smaller area to a bigger area just today. Yes, and we made it quite official today that we're going to use a bigger field this time. My hope is to give back to my roots, of which, again, we've chosen the 2KK Foundation back home in the Philippines. The beneficiaries are those underprivileged children who lived in Smoky Mountain. And just to put a picture in that, this is like a tip you guys have got here, which is quite organized. But in the Philippines, it's literally a mountain of garbage and rubbish where children look for recycling and sell it, and sometimes for whatever food they find and eat it just to live in day to day. So we've chosen this organization as our partnered charity back home to give back from where we come from, and at the same time help those most in need. Me and my team are really grateful that, especially from the support from the community, with the help of media, local and international, we've reached far and wide, that we managed to accumulate funds enough to to send 4 children to school for about a year, and I'm hoping for this year with your help with the communities pulling together, we'll try to expand and increase the number of these scholars again, to help them to go to school. To all the communities listening to the Chaos Radio, we're inviting you on behalf of the Filipino Cornwall Community Organization. We're inviting you to a multicultural and charity event on 8th of August 2026 from 10 o'clock to 6 in the evening, followed by an after parties. So there will be, we call it bailehan or a disco afterwards. It will be again from 10 to 6 o'clock, then 6 to 10 in the evening for the after party in Truro High School for Girls. So please come and join us. It's open to all. We welcome everyone. And I'd like that day to be a fun day for everybody, where you just can be yourself and just enjoy what's being presented with you or around you. But at the same time, to be reminded that again, we are all one part of the community, and the event is through a good cause to support the underprivileged children through the help of 2KK Foundation in the Philippines. So you can reach us through Facebook. It's a Filipino Cornwall Community Organization official, or in our email at info@fcc.uk.
NEWSWAVE.
I'm happy to share that I'm one of the oldest volunteers in 2KK. I've been with 2KK for 23 years now. And our organization, 2KK, is always driven by a saying by Mother Teresa, if you cannot do great things, you can do small things with great love. And actually, that's how 2KK started, just as a group of friends, young people wanting to make a difference in our country, in the Philippines. And because of the realities of poverty, there's a saying by Mitch Albom, each affects the other affects the next. The world is full of stories, but in the end, these stories are all one. And that's why our group's name is Kapwa Kapatid, or 2KK Tulong sa Kapwa Kapatid. In English, it means help for my brother and sister, with the belief that all of us are brothers and sisters in the bigger picture. So we're so grateful for our kapwa kapatids all the way in London wanting to help out, but then just really with a message that we do not need to do big things in order to love, but it's in those small little acts of love that we can do. And so I guess so that's my story of kapwa kapatid, or being part of 2KK. It has actually shaped me to become who I am today because of the many hearts and hands that I've worked with. A lot of the volunteers who have helped out through the years. Our volunteers come and go. That really always happens, but it's amazing how our volunteers are always part of this family, and they're always welcome to come back at any time. And their brief moment or in the long moments that they've been working with us, they have made an impact. So I guess we're just really very grateful for so many kapwa kapatids who've helped. And with 2KK, we also try to empower our youth and our children. So like what Flor was saying, we don't call our beneficiaries scholars, but we call them yapak leaders. Yapak meaning that's like a foot, but then yaman ang pag-aralin ng kabataan in English is it is richness to make the youth study. And we call them leaders because we want to also inculcate in them that they are the leaders of the organization. So actually, whenever we have meetings, you don't know who the volunteer is and you don't know who the scholars are, because we all take part. And also because actually a lot of our programs began because of the community, because of the kids wanting to be part. So the Yapak program, or the scholarship program, started because the youth in Payatas were the ones who said, Ate, or like big sister, we want to go to university too, like you. And so that's how 2KK started. It was really the initiative of the people in the dump site. It was a dump site before. It was called Payatas. But now it's really much more advanced, and the city has really made it so advanced now. But then I guess I'll just share with gratefulness to Christian and to the whole group of Piestahan sa Cornwall, and for all of the initiatives that you're doing to raise funds. Yes, we're very grateful, and do know that we will continue to share that love. So of course, with the contributions that you've given, we will ensure that it goes to scholarships. That's what they chose to do, to give to scholarships. And I think that's what's most important for our Yapak leaders, because most of our Yapak leaders, 90% of them are the first to graduate university. And most of them, after graduation, already start to work. And then from working, they already start to help their family. So they're also going to help and nurture their other younger brothers and sisters. So I hope they can see with all of the donors that will be helping with Piestahan sa Cornwall, your donations will continue on to many people's lives. And I will continue to share, and I hope that the spirit of 2KK will resonate with each one of us. Like, we can do small things with great love, and I think that's how we can continue to pass on the message that even if there's so many bad things that are happening in this world, it's really bad. There's wars happening, there's climate change, with so many things that are happening. We can be part of the solution, and we don't need to change the world, but then it's in our little steps that we can do. So I think that's it, and we're so grateful, and hope you can come and visit the Philippines. We're always open. If you're here, we'll always be open with open arms for you to come visit our communities, and you'll see that love. I think that's the spirit of 2KK, that if you're able to visit the communities and be with our kids and with your volunteers, you'll always be part of that family.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, that's all we've got time for on this week's edition of NEWSWAVE. A big Chaos Radio thank you to the team behind the St Austell Community Land Trust, to Leanne at RSPCA Cornwall, Amanda of NHS Cornwall and Isles of Scilly, to everyone that joined us as well at Sticker Vintage Rally and Country Fair, to Matthew and Ashley from St Austell Fire Station, to Brian from Roseland Observatory, and of course to the wonderful Christian Valenzuela and the Filipino Cornwall Community Organisation. And, as ever, a final thank you to you for listening and helping support local journalism to thrive. To catch up on all our coverage, as well as to check out our extensive back catalogue of interviews and shows, head on over to chaos.radio. And remember, if you have a local news story that you'd like to share with us, email news@chaos.radio or search Chaos Radio UK across socials. NEWSWAVE has been produced and presented by me, Tom Howe, and is a Chaos Radio production for the Cornwall Community Media Network.
Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.